Welcome to the Lose Your Big Ass Stomach podcast. I'm your host, Jay Jackson, and my mission here is to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and take back control of your health so that you can look and feel your best by being the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, while destroying the mediocre agenda society is trying to brainwash you into, and breaking our families' generational curses of being unhealthy by being a healthy and fit role model. It's time to set a new standard. It's time to set a new standard of living. If you find the podcast helpful, be sure to hit that follow button because that helps us build a movement. Let's go. Believe it or not, y'all, when I was growing up, I grew up in a household where I was staying with my granddad and his two sisters, and all we used to eat was soul food, man. Like, all we used to eat was soul food. Believe it or not, even though I talk about health and fitness and all this and that now, back in the days, your boy was eating soul food every day. The pork chops, the neck bones, the string beans, the green beans, the pound cake, the peach cobbler. Yeah. That's what your boy used to be eating on. In the morning, I remember sometimes in the morning we would wake up, we wouldn't just have like a little simple small pancake. We'd have a big old ass pancake. The pancakes used to be bigger than the whole plate. And it used to be crazy. And, my granddad and his two sisters, they were obese. Knowing what I know now, they were obese. Morbidly obese, actually. And, I was around about 9 years old. My granddad ended up experiencing a lot of health issues because of his weight. He was like the provider of the family. And he started having strokes. He started developing sleep apnea. He started saying that he was going to start doing things to change. Because before that point, he was, been a truck driver. And at age 46 years old, my granddad ended up having a heart attack. And so that put our family in a lot of pain. It started the separation of our family, because before that point, everybody on the weekends would come to our family's home. We'd eat soul food together, kind of like that movie called Soul Food. If y'all remember Big Mama, when Big Mama, when she would cook, everybody come over to the house, right? That was how we were. And one of my great aunties, which was my granddad's sister, Louise, she was our Big Mama. And so after my granddad passed away, one of my other great aunties ended up passing away shortly after from a car accident. And so I stayed with Louise. And she'd cook all the time, man. She cooked all the time. She was heavy, but she also had some demons that she was dealing with. She developed type 2 diabetes, and she was hiding it from the family. But only I knew. I didn't know what was going on as a kid, but only I knew how bad she was struggling because I would see it. I see herself poking herself with needles and, vomiting in the trash can, and she'd be telling me to bring the damn trash can to her as a little kid. And it just became so routine, it became normal to me. But fast forward, it wasn't until I went and moved with my dad when I was about 12, 13 years old, is when I really started taking fitness seriously, because I wanted to look better. I wanted to, have more confidence in myself. I was the kid with the big head, slim body. And, I used to have crushes in school, just like most little boys. And I wanted to have that presentation. I wanted to feel like I looked the part, talking to the type of girl I want to talk to. Your ass want to talk to a dime. Your ass need to be looking like a dime. You need to be able to have the confidence of a dime. And at least that's the way I view things. You know what I'm saying? And I found myself starting to put on some muscle mass. I started to get a little bit more in shape. I started to gain a lot more self-confidence. And, fast forward, playing football, I started to seek a lot of that, validation from my dad, from exercising. Even though he thought I was exercising for football, I was exercising so I could look good. I wanted to be able to talk to the little girls. And, I started becoming obsessed with my dad's validation, with how much he was just proud of me. And I'm like, man, I got to keep this going. I can't stop doing this. And fast forward, I ended up going to Georgia State University. Well, if I back up, I'm going to tell y'all even a little bit more of the story. This was part of the story that I could have left out, but I'm going to add it on in there. I did not get a scholarship to go to college to play football. And it actually almost put me into a depression because I felt like I let everybody down. And I ended up walking on at a junior college in Arkansas. out there in Little Rock, Arkansas. And played football out there for a year. Then I wanted to get back to Atlanta. So I applied to go to Georgia Tech, and apparently I was in, from the acceptance letter. But when I withdrew from the college out there and came to Atlanta, getting ready to get my housing for Georgia Tech, they said I wasn't in. Like, it was like a shock. I didn't know what the hell to do with my life. I'm like, I walked on and, I told the football coach over there, I think the coach's name like Coach Suwack or something like that, tell him I'm gonna walk on. I got accepted and all this good stuff, and my whole world came crashing down because I had a very promising future out there in Arkansas based on the effort and work that I put in, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, and so luckily my dad had a restaurant. So I started working at his restaurant, washing dishes, mopping floors. And while I was doing that, I also was staying with him again. And while they were going to the gym at LA Fitness at times, I started going to the gym with him. And while I was going to the gym, one of the guys over there at the gym, he was like, "Hey, you should do this personal training thing." And I didn't even know that personal training was like a thing where you could get paid to do it. And so I started doing it. I started training people, started getting some people up underneath my belt of training. And fast forward, I got into Georgia State. I applied to Georgia State for the second time because the first time I didn't get in. I didn't have enough credits from me transferring from Arkansas. And so, I walked on that Georgia State football team. Didn't make it the first time around. Then they called me back, and I made the team. And so I played football. And then after my sophomore year, the boosters, they're investing in these programs. And so they want to see the scholarship running backs play. And I was a walk-on. And so when it was my turn to be able to, like, show my skills and everything like that, the coach was like, "Hey, man, the boosters want to see scholarship players play." And so at that point, I knew there was a lot of politics in sports in college and, even in the pros. And so I made a decision that it was time for me to grow up and be a man, and I fell into a depression for a while because that was my whole identity up to that point. I was like, I'm a football player, I'm a baller. I work out to ball. That's why I did it. It wasn't to be Mr. Fitness Expert. That was not the game plan. But after a couple of months of licking my wounds, I had already been doing some training, like I shared earlier. But I said to myself, why not make this like a full-time thing? Why not go ahead and make this something that I like pour all my purpose into? Because at one point during my junior and senior year at Georgia State University, I was in I think it was an Anatomy 2 class, and my professor, she was talking about high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, all these different like weight-related health issues and traumas that people tend to go through. And when she started talking about those things, I started to realize, damn, a lot of people in my family went through this stuff. A lot of people in my great auntie who, like, she took me in, like, she died from this stuff. My granddad passed away from these things. And I just remember being in the back of the classroom, everybody else taking notes. I got my head down on the desk because tears coming out my eyes. I'm like, damn, I had no idea it was this bad. And I had never even, they used to always say, "Oh, we just big bone." Like, big bone not even a thing. When I was at Georgia State University, the whole 3 years that I was there, I never heard or seen a big bone person, a skeleton. I never seen it. My professors never even said anything about it. And so, at that point, that's when I started really pouring my purpose, pouring my energy into really helping people, doing the more in-person route, training people in person. And then after I graduated from Georgia State, I really started taking it super serious so I can make it a full-time income, and start building a business, hired 2 people, started getting more clientele. And I found myself getting clients results. They would lose weight, but they weren't always able to get rid of that little bit, that last little bit of stomach. And I started feeling like an imposter, y'all. Yo, what up? Just wanted to take a quick second to let you know I want to change your life. If you've been listening to the episode and you know that I have what it takes to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and transform your body, and you ready to make them changes in your life, head over to my Instagram at JJacksonOfficial and DM your boy Real Results. And I'll reach out to you and we'll talk about your biggest struggles. We'll talk about the goals that you want to accomplish, and I'll give you some guidance and a game plan on what you need to do next to hit those goals. Again, head over to my Instagram at JJacksonOfficial and DM me the words Real Results, and I'll reach out to you to do what I can to help you. Now let's get back to the episode. I started to feel like, damn, like I'm telling people we can get these type of results, but we can only get them subpar results. And so, I took it among myself. I was like, okay, well, who do I know who could teach me this kind of stuff? Like how to get people ripped up, get abs, get a flat stomach. And so I decided to step on stage as a bodybuilder. And so if you've been rocking with me for years, you more than likely seen my bodybuilding transformation. Like that's when I started getting a lot of clients and followers on social media, because people were following my transformation, my bodybuilding transformation. And it was a couple of things when I was doing the bodybuilding competitions that really just were eye-opening to me. One was my coach had me eating carbs like rice and potatoes and stuff like that, oatmeal, pretty much every day. And after a couple of weeks of doing my prepping for my first show, like week 4 or 5, I started noticing how much of a change. Like I was getting way leaner, way cut. And I'm like, how is this even possible? Because I was that trainer who used to tell people, you got to give up carbs to be able to get lean and cut up. That used to be me. But knowing what I know now, carbs don't make you fat. You can get lean as hell still eating carbs. But I just didn't have the right structure and routines in place to be able to do those things. And that's what tends to happen to a lot of people. They hear these trainers like I used to be, hey, you got to give up carbs, but you really don't. Hey, you got to give up meat, but you really don't. Unless it's something that you want to do from a religious standpoint, you really don't have to do that shit to be able to lean out and lose weight. So as I started to get leaner and I got doing my first competition, I started having a lot of people reaching out to me on social media. Hey man, how can you help me? But these people were in different states or in different parts of Atlanta to where I couldn't train them in person, because I wasn't about to drive to their ass. And so there was this one guy named John. Reached out to me, John Thomas. He reached out to me on Facebook, wrote me this long ass message talking about how he had been struggling for years, man. Doing the diet thing, doing the workouts, spending a little mini fortune on supplements, and he'd lose a little bit but then gain it back. Lose a little bit, gain it back. And he was just exhausted. And so I got on the game plan call with him, talked to him about what we could do to make it work. And this guy, I had never seen him in person. He dropped 48 pounds in 4 months. When he dropped that 48 pounds and we did a member success story like I do with a lot of my members, he started telling me how it really impacted his life from dropping that 48 pounds. His wife can't keep her hands off of him. He went and bought a basketball goal because he got so much energy. Now he can hoop with his son, and I'm just like, damn, this is way bigger than just losing weight and losing a big old ass stomach. This guy got his whole life back. It's people that fall into a depression that never change. They start to feel hopeless. And so I was like, man, I think there's something here, because when I was just training out here in Buckhead, Atlanta, I made some really good relationships and some people that I really care about, you know what I'm saying, from just training people in person. But I actually lost my passion for it because they didn't really want to transform. It's something, at one point it was like, yeah, I want to train. I want to perfect this training skill and, technique and all this good stuff. But then it became, I wanted to be able to transform people. People could look at a photo and then look at the after photo and be like, damn, that's what I wanted. I wanted to hear people on testimonial videos and on my interviews. Yeah, I dropped 30 pounds working with Coach J. Yeah, I dropped 60 pounds working with Coach J. Yeah, I dropped X amount of pounds working with Coach. That's what I wanted. Because in my mind, that's true, undeniable results. And that's what I wanted. And so, it made my ego feel a little bit better too. Yeah, it made me feel more proud of myself because I know I'm doing what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, when I helped John make that transformation, that's when I started taking personal training, online coaching a lot more serious. And I know some of y'all, you've invested in trainers and coaches and courses and programs in the past, and it didn't work out for you. I've been there. I've invested over $50,000, well over $50,000 in business coaches. And some of them didn't work out. And it wasn't just a couple of $100 like y'all have to pay for different fitness coaches. No, I was spending thousands a month. And my first business coach was $6,000. And so, luckily that program helped me out. But then there were some programs in the middle. Wasn't all that. Yeah. I was like, damn, they didn't scam my ass. All they taught me was how to set up a Google Calendar, but I spent a couple of $1,000s on the program. And I went through those, adversities, those challenges, but I didn't have a negative mindset towards it because, one, I trusted myself that I was going to be able to figure it out still. Two, sometimes the L is not a loss. Sometimes the L is a lesson. And I started learning lessons around what I needed to do versus the things that I didn't need to do. What I need to pay attention to when I'm getting ready to invest in a coach versus the things that, if I see coaches that's promoting and I'm like, nah, that's some bullshit right there. They're not being consistent. They're not showing results. They're not being live. You know what I'm saying? They just running ads all damn day, but they never go live. I just started looking at different things like that. And so it helped me start to make more educated decisions when I started investing in different business coaches. And my recent business coach that I'm with right now, I've spent the most amount of money with this one. And it was a very educated decision I made. And had I not made this investment in this coach, y'all probably wouldn't even know me. We probably wouldn't even have to Lose the Big Old Ass Stomach podcast. And if we did, it would have taken years longer for me to get to this point. This is why I always tell y'all, investing in professional help is very important. It's a cheat code, man. Because a lot of us, you probably are smart enough to be able to figure it out, but it's just going to take you way longer. It would have took me way longer to connect all these dots. But because I had a coach, I can, understand, okay, here's what I want to do, but I could seek, guidance on if that's the right thing to do right now from my business coach. And that's how we've gone from freaking 20-something thousand on Instagram followers to over 75,000 and moving in close to 80. You see what I'm saying? Like, these things happen out of having clarity. Like, when you invest in structure, when you invest in a game plan and guidance from a professional, this is what can happen, man. And now with the place I am in my life, I'm pushing for excellence. That's what I'm pushing for. I'm pushing for excellence. Showing up every single day, making myself a little uncomfortable, being okay being uncomfortable, because there's plenty of days where I don't feel like making content or doing a live or even going to the gym or eating certain type of food because it might have been a stressful day, but I do it anyway. And that's what I look at as excellence. So when you don't feel like going to the gym, take your ass to the gym. That's part of being excellent. When you don't feel like eating the right food, it's not to say you got to eat the right food all the time, but you got to have structure and discipline on when you're going to do it and when you're not going to do it. It can't be a coping thing that you use for coping. It has to be structured. It has to be intentional. And when you do this, this makes you stronger, because we get strength through restraint. Restraining yourself from doing things that you know are not good for you, it builds strength. Not always physical strength. It can be emotional strength, mental toughness. For some reason in the world nowadays, if it's uncomfortable, it's not good to do. I don't know what the hell just didn't happen out here in the world, but I don't know. But that shit ain't it. You have a whole lot of folks out here suffering because they thinking that if they go through a little bit of discomfort, that it's the wrong thing. We got to get back to how things used to be. Getting mentally tough, having some grit. Back in the days, man, my dad used to have me with, his friends' sons, and we be boxing. We be wrestling to get us mentally tough. Nowadays, y'all just let your kids play video games all damn day. Get your kids to wrestle. Get your kids to do some things that are tough. Get them to work out because they see you working out. Get them to start eating healthy and not eating all that bullshit, all them sweets and junk food, because they see you eating healthy. Yeah, it's going to be a little uncomfortable because they want that sugar. But if you are restraining yourself from eating sugar, they'll start doing the same thing. And so you probably notice a pattern here, what I'm saying right now. It's not just about you. It's about the people that you love and care about. And if you truly love them, you're going to do things that are required, not just because it's a convenient thing to do. It's required. If you want to look the part, if you want to be a positive role model, if you want to, be happy, if you want to have that freedom to wear what you want to wear, go on vacations and trips and not have to worry about how your body looking, not have to worry about or stressing that your health might get worse, you gotta step into excellence. That's what it's all about. It ain't gonna be easy. We all growing. I'm still growing. I'm no better than y'all. I'm still growing. I just know a little bit more than y'all might know when it comes to fitness and nutrition. That's all it is. All right? And so with that said, hopefully y'all found this podcast episode helpful. If you did, be sure to hit that follow button, leave your boy a 5-star rating so we can continue to grow this movement, baby. And we out here. Let's get it. We out. Yo, appreciate you for tapping in and listening to the podcast episode today. Hopefully you found it valuable. And if you did and you want to learn more about how I can help you lose the big ass stomach, transform your body, and get your health on point, DM me real results over on Instagram at JJacksonOfficial for more information. And I'll reach back out to you to do what I can to help you hit those health and fitness goals. Let's get it.